Hi, welcome to the Corner of Knit and Tea, episode 9. It is Saturday, October 4th, and I'm recording a day early because we have so much going on this weekend, so I wanted to make sure that I got a recording in, so I decided to record this morning. I am Laura, also known as Fluffy K on Ravelry, Fluffy Kira on Twitter and Instagram. I blog over at the Corner of Knit and Tea, which is where all the show notes are for this episode. And I also have an Etsy shop, The Stash Buckler Adventures in Yarn. So, welcome to episode 9. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome back to all my viewers, and welcome to anyone new who decided to check it out this week. I hope you'll enjoy. So it has been a great week. I managed to finish a couple more things, and I actually haven't cast on for any of my October projects yet, but I have a bunch of them here with me and to talk to you about and to let you know what I'm up to. And then I have some spins, I have some tea, and I guess that's about it. So let's jump right in. Today's tea, I went ahead and put it in my Hello Kitty Trick or Treat Halloween mug, which I love. I actually use it year round, but I love it because it's big and I can warm my hands on it, and it's just a cute mug. I picked it up at Barnes & Noble a while back. And today's tea, I actually had some questions if I ever drink any kinds of plain tea or anything that's not sweet and dessert-like. And so I went ahead, I do. In general, I like fruit and dessert teas, and I think they went well for the summer. But now that it's getting cooler, there are some holiday blends that I really like, some spiced blends, some black tea, and so I decided to kind of go with that. And I decided to go for something hot because it's chilly today. It's only about 50 degrees. It's a beautiful fall day, a little windy, very sunny. It should be a nice day. We actually have another wedding to go to. This has been the year of weddings. This is the 4th wedding my husband and I have gone to in just a few months. And this is the last one, but it should be a beautiful day for a wedding. The ceremony is inside as well as the reception, so I'm not too worried about it. But here I am drinking Mighty Leaf Organic Assam Estate. And actually the most interesting debate that we had on in the YouTube comments of the last episode is a couple of my friends from the UK discussed that they usually drink their tea with a little bit of milk and sugar. And I do know a few Americans who drink it that way, but for the most part in America we do not drink with milk and sugar. Now I always put sugar into mine because I like it sweet. But I don't know a ton of people who put milk in, so that's sort of interesting. Anyway, and then Kim and Sam told me that I need to do a sippy sippy. This is an homage to Bunny, who is Graveyard Girl on YouTube, but also to Kim and Sam from Come Knit With Us. So here we go. Perfect, sippy sippy. So that's the tea for today. What I'm wearing, oh, and I forgot to look it up, so I'm going to be terrible with this. It is a pattern for fingering weight. It is a cabled sweater. It's an off-the-shoulder cabled sweater, and I knit it a while ago. It is in the Plucky Knitter in their Superwash Merino fingering weight. It might have some cashmere in it. I cannot remember. I completely blanked on looking up all the details. But the color was a club colorway. It's called Tara's Velvet Drapes, which is a reference to Gone with the Wind, and it's this beautiful emerald green that you now can't see on the camera, but if I stand up you can see it better. That's a much more true color, and it's the same front and back, and then it's got a nice cable detailing on the arm, and I decided it would be a nice fall sweater for a wedding because it's just a little bit chilly today, and I've got that with a black skirt and just kind of a little bit dressed up. I'm going to put on some boots in a little bit, and we'll take it from there. So I will put the details in the show notes. I apologize for not looking it up and not being ready to discuss it. I guess I wasn't thinking about it as I was running around this morning trying to get things going. So let's go on to knitting. I finished, think I showed you these last week. They are the leggies. The pattern is called Leg Warmies. It's by Alana Dacos. And it's a free pattern, and they are just little leg warmers for my niece Roxy to wear with her pumpkin costume for Halloween. And my sister and I kind of crossed on these. I started making them, and she emailed me to ask if I could make some, so I will be shipping those off shortly so Roxy can wear them for Halloween. And Roxy actually is a Halloween baby, so she's having a birthday party that is Halloween themed, so she'll be wearing these for her birthday party. So that will be fun. One of the things that I forgot to show you last week, they were actually done last week, but I didn't get them in, is I went ahead and knit more mini mittens from that skein of yarn that I replied. And again, these are just mini mitten ornaments that I'm going to sell at the craft fair. And the skein that I had spun was scraps of all kinds of other things that I had spun previously. So they all knit up a little bit different with a little bit different sections. And I just knit a couple more. When I looked in my bag, I thought I had a few more than I actually did, so I'm going to try and knit up a few more over the next month or two. The craft show is the weekend before Thanksgiving, so I have a little bit more time to get those going. So I will probably show you a few more on the podcast. I'm maybe halfway done with the ball now. And I have the second ball of scrappies too, so I have quite a bit to keep me occupied. But those are 3 more mini mittens. These are about 18 to 20 yards each, so not a lot. You just need a little scrap left over. So mini mittens. The last thing that I finished this week, and I had been talking about it on and off throughout the podcast, so I'm super happy, is I finished my stripy sweater. This pattern is Caramel by Isabel Kermeyer, and it is a top-down raglan with big front sections that can either be drapey or you can close them with a shawl pin or a button. I'll probably stick to a shawl pin if I'm going to do it, because I'm not going to go ahead and put any buttons on here. But I went ahead and finished these sleeves, and I made the sleeves sort of match the body. I didn't have enough of the green to add stripes all the way down the sleeve, so I actually did just knit the sleeve, and then I knit the bottom section to match the body. I didn't, and I may regret this, I didn't actually do any sleeve shaping. I wanted this to be like a little bit big and a little bit clunky, kind of the way the rest of the sweater goes. And I may come to regret that because the sleeves are actually fairly large down at the end, and I may have wished that I had tapered it. I could probably pull it out. I probably won't. And as I said, I knit the sleeves flat, and then what I did was I just seamed them up because that way I could make sure that the stripes lined up nicely. So that is what I did, but that is a huge finish for me. I started this project in June because who doesn't need a wool sweater in Kansas in June? And all it needs now is good blocking just to kind of make the edges here. You knit the, well, technically it's not a button band because there are no buttons, but you knit the edging along with the body and it just tends to roll. So I just need to block that so that it will block out nicely and I'll be able to wear it. But I should be good to wear, and actually this week it may warm up a little bit again, but I think we're pretty close to into fall, and this is going to be a great fall. I can wear it to work. Wear it with leggings and boots. It should be a great sweater. So I'm super happy to have that done. That is also a free pattern. And the yarn that I used was Northampton worsted, which is Webb's house brand yarn. And the colors are fawn, light green heather, dahlia, and chestnut heather. So, and all the notes of that are on my project page on Ravelry, and they'll be on the notes page at the corner of Knit and Tea. So that pretty much finishes off most of what was on my needles. So I'm excited to be able to cast on for some October projects. The first thing that I am going to cast on is I'm going to cast on some stripy socks. Those of you who watch Kim and Sam over at Come Knit With Us will know about their recent obsession with Desert Vista Dye Works, who makes some great self-striping yarns. and I ordered one she had an anniversary sale where she would dye to order any colorway that she has done, any of her, I think it's like 300 colorways that she has done in her time in business. And there was one colorway that I have always really, really liked. And I went back and it was there for the ordering. So I went ahead and ordered. It is called La Durée Macaroons. And it's got all the great colors of macaroons. It's got like a chocolate brown. It's got a hot pink. It's got kind of a lighter pink. And then a green, a yellow, and a bluish purple, kind of a periwinkle color. And you can see some of the colors on the side as well. And I went ahead and split the ball into two, so that I can use up every last bit of yarn. I suspect these will be knee socks again. And so my socks for this month will be just plain vanilla stripies, much like my socks from last month in Desert Vista Dye Works. The base is Viso, which I think is a superwash merino and might have some nylon in it. I didn't look at the tag. And it's super squishy, and I'm so excited to knit with these. By next week, I hope I will have something to show you. I should. And these are going to be awesome. Very excited about these. And that is a knit along going on in the Come Spin With Us group. I am knitting these for my Sock Club 2014, which is part of the Stitch Addiction podcast. I don't know why I always say that. Stitch Addiction podcast with Kate. And so I will try and knit these within the month of October, but the Desert Vista Dye Works knit along actually goes until November. So if you want to participate and need to purchase a skein of yarn, there is still time for you to do so. And that is in my Minions bag, because I love the Minions, and this was, a friend of mine picked it up at Stitches West for me this year, and I love the Minions, and this is by Slipped Stitch Studios. And I do believe this was a limited edition bag because she only had so much fabric, but she has some great bags, so I would definitely recommend that you check them out, and I will put that information for you in the show notes. So actually the next project has changed in the last half an hour, 45 minutes since I laid out all of my stuff. I just got off from Skyping with my sister and Roxy, and my sister told me I was going to make Roxy an owlet for her birthday, and I had the yarn and the pattern and the needles all put aside for it, and I ordered some adorable owl buttons. But I discussed it with my sister today, and actually some of the other sweaters that I have knit her still fit her, so they're going to go ahead and use those. But my sister said she absolutely will not tolerate a hat. So what they could really use is a few hats with some kind of tie so that they can tie it under the chin and she can't get it off. So I am going to go ahead and look up on Ravelry a few different patterns for probably ear flap hats with ties and see what I can do. I had planned to do one for Christmas in handspun, so I will probably go ahead and do that one now instead, and I don't know, maybe she'll get a sweater for Christmas or something else, but now I need to go ahead and come up with a few hats for her, which should be fine, because she's not super big, so I should be able to crank out the hats pretty quickly, so I just need to figure out what I've got and kind of get that going. So I had put aside all the owlet stuff to show you, but now I'm not going to show it to you because I don't know that I'll be knitting that right away. I'll probably come back to that maybe in January or February and knit her another sweater, or I may actually just put it off until next fall. I ordered enough yarn, and at her size the difference isn't so great. It's just one extra ball, and I ordered enough that I should have that amount of yarn, so I should even be able to knit it for her next year. So those are the two that I was going to talk about, so now I'm not, but hopefully I'll have at least one hat to show you next week. And then I also have a few other projects that I'd like to cast on for me and some other gifts, but I haven't pulled the yarn and the patterns all together yet, so I thought I would wait until next week to show you some of those. So that was kind of an abbreviated knitting section, although I'm still at 14 minutes, so I should be fine. Which brings me to spinning. So this week I finished, this is going to look the same as the previous week. I finished another skein of, this is the Southern Cross Fiber Homestead. It is South African Superfine Merino, and it is in burgundy, brown, cream, and gray. And I finished another skein of this. As you might remember, I spun this several months ago. Somebody bought it, posted a photo. Everybody liked it. I had requests for custom orders. I have filled those. So this one is actually in the shop right now, available for purchase if you're interested. And I actually even have a couple other braids of it. So if you wanted one and don't manage to get this one, let me know because I can spin up a couple more. So yeah, so I won't say too much about that because you've seen a braid that looks like this several times already. So the next braid that I talked about spinning up last week was from Skein, which is a dyer, I think she goes by Skein Yarn, and it's a dyer in Australia, and it was a it was an Australian merino in the colorway Meadow, which was lots of blues and browns and greens, and I have spun up half of that. So I didn't get as far as I had hoped, but I have half on the bobbin, and the colors are not showing quite as well because it's a little bit yellower in some sections, but I have spun that up. I suspect that will be about a sport weight. I have the other half of the fiber waiting out at my wheel, and hopefully we'll finish that up in the next couple days. And this will be a shop skein, so I will show you, and it will also go up in the shop if anyone is interested. So that brings me to what's on deck. The next braid that I'm going to spin is a super fun braid. This is by the dyer Bee Mice Elf, and she dyes some crazy, all of her braids are kind of variegated, but she does some really nice ones in terms of color pairing, and this one was one that I absolutely loved. It's called Chili Penguin, and it is blues, mostly turquoise, white and black, and then there are some areas where there's some pale blue from where the turquoise meets the white, and some areas where there's a little bit of gray from where the black meets the white. And this is superwash merino, and the other thing about Bee Myself is that she tends to do generous braids. This one is actually 5.2 ounces rather than the regular 4 ounces. So that is what I will work on next, and I haven't decided. Since this is a superwash merino, it is acceptable for children, so it can be washed. So I haven't decided if this one is going in the shop or if I'm going to pull this one aside to make something for Roxy out of it. Probably see how I go. Probably end up putting it in the shop because I can always get some more superwash. I just love the colorways in this. This was just a fun one that I really wanted, and actually the back looks just a little bit different. There's a little bit more white on the back. So yeah, so that's the one that I'll be spinning this week after I finish the other one. So my guess is I'll probably have a bobbin and some fiber to show you next week because I probably won't finish this by the time I podcast next. But that's what's coming up next on my wheel. And I think that is probably it for today. I am sorry that I was a little put together loosely today. I was kind of running around the house and I forgot to sort of sit down and do show notes right before I started broadcasting, which is usually the way that I bring my mind together, wrap my mind around what I'm wearing and some of the other patterns that I have picked. And then there was the little bit of change because I was all prepared to show you the sweater that I was going to knit. Now I'm not going to knit a sweater. So I was a little discombobulated today, but I hope you enjoyed the recording. Thank you all for leaving such great comments and feedback and questions, and I'm really just enjoying talking to all of you, and thank you for spending 20, 30, 40 minutes with me each week. It really means a lot to me. It's so exciting to get to meet people from all over, and I'm really flattered that you're enjoying listening to me talk and that I get to show off all the things that I do that I'm absolutely loving. So I suppose I will say until next week, happy knitting, happy spinning, happy sipping, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.